Hello and welcome to another Purveyor of Light Lightroom quick tip. Today we've got a quick and easy one. Most people just totally disregard this big box here in the upper right in Lightroom when they work on photos, and they go, oh, I don't know what it's for, but it's pretty. It's got some colors in it. And they don't ever touch it. They don't ever look at it. They don't even know they can touch it. And so today we're going to cover it. Today that box up in the upper right here is called the histogram. And it scares so many people. So many people don't understand it. And it's something that is really so simple. Okay? So I'm going to cover that today. All right. So we have colorful graph. Okay? And that's representing the red, green, and blue channels. Okay? RGB, as they say. And it's just showing you where there's this much of blue being used, where there's this much green being used, and yellow, so forth. How much data is there? So all the way to the left is our, you see, that's our blacks. Okay, if we hover over it, and I go to the next section, and it says this is your shadows. And this is our general exposure or midtones. And this is highlights. And this is whites. Okay? Now, we also have our triangles up here. If I hover over, you can see blue appears on her neckline here. That means that we are clipping the shadows into nothingness. Okay, our blacks are clipping. We have no information there. And if we do the same thing with this, anything that's in red would show us that we are clipping our highlights. Okay, where there's no information. Anytime you push a picture one way or the other, whether you push the blacks all the way to nothing or the highlights to nothing, it's a bad thing, because that means we have no data in those areas of the photo. So an example is if I take the blacks and I push them over, okay, I crushed them, right? And if I go over and hover on it, you can see how much blue. That means in these areas, absolutely no information. All detail is lost in that portion of it. And we could turn that on by clicking on it, and so we can look at it full time, and we can do the same thing with the highlights. All right. And you'll notice here that I just pushed the blacks. I'm going to reset the blacks, but I'm going to do the whites the same way. All right. Now, when I push the whites, you can see I've been pushed over to the histogram all the way to the right. And all these now in red are saying we've pushed the white point so far that we've literally lost all detail in the photo. All right. So turn off the highlights here. And if I just hover over it, okay, so it's saying right in here, we have lost all detail. Look at her hair, okay? If we hover over it, so that portion of the hair, we've lost all detail, okay? Now, most of us have edited photos and realize, okay, I come down here and I can mess with the exposure, and I can, change my white point and change my black point, and I can work my shadows and my highlights, and I can just keep going on down the list. But what a lot of people don't know is you could just use your histogram, okay, and work on your photo right up here and actually have a better visualization of what's going on. If I hover over here, I'm in the blacks, okay? Now, if I click and I drag, look what's happening. I'm moving the black slider because that's what I'm working with, is in the blacks area. If I click into the next area, which is the shadows, now when I move it, look, I'm moving the slider on the shadows adjustment. And all I'm doing is staying in this box, in this histogram, and sliding my mouse left and right to make the adjustments. Okay? All right, so here's the general exposure, right, in the middle. or midtones, as they say. So what do you think that would move on the adjustment scale? If you guessed exposure, you're absolutely right. So down here, and I could just slide the histogram that. Now, why would you want to do this? Okay, well, because it lets you visually see when you're pushing things too far. Okay? If I turn around and I push the highlights, or I push the shadows, or if I push them all the way over, I can see with the histogram that I'm losing data. Okay? I'm going to lose data if I do this. If I make that adjustment, I can see everything that's pushed to the left, and I've lost everything. So let's see what I've lost. See, there's the shadow things. We've lost all detail in these blue areas here. Okay? So now, if I made the adjustment by looking at it in the histogram, okay, I can make the adjustment until I'm happy with that. Same thing with this. I can come in and do an adjustment. And I can do all the adjustments right on the screen, as easy as moving things. And I can work on the photo that way. And it's that easy. And a lot of people don't even know. They look at this histogram, they see it up there every day, they work on their photos. They've never touched it. They don't know how to use it. They don't know how to read it. Okay? But there you go. It's a graphical representation of the sliders down here so that you can make adjustments and understand what's happening in your photo. Okay? Now, which is the right way or the wrong way? There is no right or wrong way. If you're more comfortable understanding the sliders individually, okay, that's fine. But I'm just showing you there's another option here available within Lightroom. Okay? And if you ever make adjustments and want to go back, just double click the area and it will reset the slider. I can reset all the sliders just by going to each section, and I've reset the photo to the way it is. So there you go. Just another tool for your toolbox. Hope you guys are doing well. Till next week, you guys take care.